Strong and wild, we rise up high. Conquer fears, won't let them reside. Heartbeats pound as we take the dive. Living now feels so alive. Heart steel veins glowing bright. Fitness gone in the dead of night. Dating game, we got the sight. Crushing finance, career out of sight. Men up now, we own it true. Breaking change, just me and you. Success stories everywhere. Living life beyond compare.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're super excited for today's special show. Normally we have our Tuesday show, but we had to do a very special report because we have a very special guest because it's a special time in this cycle and in this year. So without further ado, we've got Dollar Cost Crypto in the house. How are you doing today, sir?
Hey, doing good, man. That intro was something special, man. Jeez.
I know. Yeah, it's definitely it definitely gives off that, like, sort of Christian rock from the like early 2000s type vibes. So
Yeah.
like, I entertain it.
But it's kind of Jersey Shore-ish too, a little bit. It's a little Jersey Shore too, like with the stun and stuff, man.
Yeah, I think we may use a little AI to generate that one. So we're working to tweak it on a couple other different ones. But personally, I'd like to see maybe like a battle rap style intro. I think that could be most entertaining. But what is entertaining is everything that we have going on in these crypto markets right now. So what's been your take on how things have been going the first quarter of this year?
It's been. I mean, we've been in a kangaroo market. It's been like a bull bear, right? So I mean, kangaroo market's pretty fair to say. Or some people, I wouldn't call it a crab market because like I guess a bull market means it just goes nothing but up, a little sideways for a little bit, and then just monstrously be up. A bear market means we're just crashing down, just nothing but bad times. And then a crab market's where like we just stay stuck in a price zone where nothing happens, which that's not happening. So we're kind of in a kangaroo sort of like start stop sort of thing. We're like and there's money to be made, but you have to be very quick on where the rotations. We're getting a version of what we got in 2021, which is kind of like the seasons, or like L1 seasons a little bit. Like we're still kind of in the midst of like essentially still Sonic season right now, but even that got paused up a little bit with the recent drop. But the U.S. government's 100% into crypto now. I mean, absolutely backing it. We're in 2 days we're about to have the first White House meeting that's going to have quite a lot of important people in the crypto space. David Sachs, Brad Garlinghouse. You're going to have Michael Saylor. Heather, Binance. I mean, it's crazy. The amount of people that are going to be going there is pretty insane. Basically, the who's who of American crypto finance, and they invited CZ because he's trying to open, or I think he did officially open Binance US again in the States.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely been interesting, and it's just funny to see like how far the markets come from, right? Because the days of yonder, right, where you whispered in dark corners that Bitcoin would be $100,000 someday, right? And people were like, "What, this magic internet money?" Like, there's absolutely no way. And now we're at the point where it's just like, okay, cool, it's over 100,000, it's under 100,000, over 100,000, under 100,000 now. Like, it is pretty wild. So, from your perspective, like, what has sort of led to the market where it is today, and then where do you kind of foresee the market going and shifting, specifically in this year? Because this year seems like it's going to be a fairly unique cycle in the story of the crypto space.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we're in basically like a 2017 type year. Like we're in the middle of something called like a J curve, which is like as you're taking some of the good medicine, it brings on kind of as you're cleaning house, as the Doge is kind of cleaning up the government, because this cycle is going to be the most macro led cycle. So by macro, I mean kind of like stock market and the real like actual like equities market, bond market, the money market affecting crypto for the first time, because essentially we've essentially just hitched now to the market now as either a new section of the S&P 500 or a different type of an asset class, whatever that's inside of the American like asset class system for 401ks. But we're essentially we've joined at the hip now. That's what happened. The crypto system's always been, I believe, an American sort of weapon, because crypto has always been, even globally, priced in dollars. So as crypto's expanded, it's essentially expanded the money supply and expanded I would say, the outreach of the dollar. It's been and it's really been like a US dollar supremacy sort of instrument essentially forever. I mean, I've always thought so, even back when I got into crypto in 2016. But we're essentially in a 2017 type market, which means it's going to be a very, very explosive back half of the year. So with the J curve, a lot, Trump's basically been in office about like a month and some change. He hasn't even done his first 90 days. And a lot of the things that he's doing are very good for the country, but the market's really shaken up with the trade war because essentially we have tariffs on Mexico, Canada, 25%, which maybe the Canadian ones might be, we might give some leeway on some automotive stuff. Possibly there's like room for negotiation there, and also some like a 10% or 20% added tariffs to China. But the big doozy is coming on April 2nd, which is retaliatory tariffs, which any country that has any tariff against the United States, we just go to we hit them tit for tat, same thing. Which for me, I think that's pretty good because, but you have to understand the stock market is very sensitive to that. But I mean, in terms of GDP, we're the largest developed country on the planet that derives the least amount of our GDP from trade. Outside trade. Now we do get like we do buy resources and stuff, but in terms of like it's this massive part of the GDP, it's like 55%, it's 40%, like it's quite small actually. In terms of like the world generates more money from us than we generate from them, essentially. And
yeah,
it's going to be kind of, I think it's going to become a little more fair, where we're probably running trade surpluses or just very light trade deficits. And that's going to be such a game changer in terms of just the entire overall look of the U.S. government's kind of like finances, that I think it's really going to speed along the economy and kind of bring back. I mean, obviously, we're never going to go back because of technology keeps becoming more and more and more advanced to the point where we don't have 10,000 people working in a factory. You're going to have 2,000. 1,500, 1,000, 800 people working in a factory. If that, it could be as low as like 500 or 300. And 300 is a lot of people, actually, if you think about it. But like back then, factories were gigantic organizations with a ton of people, and the industry is just to supply those factories. Were entire industries unto themselves of hiring as well. There used to be like a really big industry, and just like before we had refrigerators, there was a massive industry where like a ton of people used to work in whaling back in the day. Or that was where we got all our our lighting and stuff like that. Then it went into oil, and then we used to have like a industrial size sort of industry of carving ice from Canada or up there from Alaska and shipping it down, or shipping ice from the colder parts of the United States and essentially bringing ice to the entire country. And that was a gigantic part of the economy as well and stuff. And now those industries, nobody even knows that nobody even really knows that was a thing at some point.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? Because again, when people talk about trade wars and GDP, it's like to understand the perspective of it, right? Like Canada's entire GDP is still half of what California's GDP is like alone. So when people hear these different numbers and they hear, oh my gosh, we're going to do X, Y, and Z, it's like, well, you got to take a step back, right, and look at the actual sheer scale of what things are doing. And who knows? I mean, if Elon and the Doge wind up, again, reinvesting a lot of this found misappropriated funds into various other projects, I think that could have a very positive impact on these markets too as well.
No, I think so as well. And I mean, obviously, like the big promise or the kind of the thing is like the $5,000 Doge dividend, right? This nice little stack of capital right here. This nice little stack of money. The last kind of a Biden bucks or Trump bucks, right, were about $1,200. I think they were done twice, and there may have been like some Canadian version of it as well, and like a California version as well that people got like $600 or $800 also. Is like, I can't quite remember. It was a long time ago. I try not to remember that horrible shit in the past.
God, yeah, those so long and yet not that long ago.
Not that long ago, but I want to forget. But that $5,000 is quite interesting. So I mean, the number one thing is like that money is coming from cutting and also finding waste. So this money was already, so it's not really going to increase the money supply because this money was already being spent already in God knows where. God knows where, right? But at least now this money is going to be used for Americans as a one-time relief. That I mean, you know the average. I mean, the average American is $500 to rub two pennies together. You know that old tune, right? But which I don't truly 100% believe, but still, let's just say it is true, right? That's 10 times the amount of like more people than they have in savings. You know, one thing that the Federal Reserve was doing was they wouldn't cut rates, and they weren't even considering cutting rates until they one number they were tracking very heavily was the savings rate of Americans. So like historically the average savings rate of Americans is like 2 to 3%. And it post-COVID, it had gone up to above 20%. And they were super worried. They were like, there's too much capital, there's too much glut, or the slaves have too much money right now. The slaves have too much money. And then, you know, they wrecked the economy, you know, like the increased rates that slowed down real estate, that, you know, that the crypto market, stocks took a hit, but they recovered. But, you know, everyone took a hit. You know, bond holders got wrecked really badly. Anyone who was buying bonds in the last 5 years before 2020 and 2021 and beyond, like imagine you were buying bonds from 2016 up till like 21, you got wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. So I mean, it's to the point where like you basically couldn't sell the stock. I mean, so you just keep it, take the little coupon payment that pays you, and just wait until maturity to get your money back. I mean, that's it. There's no exiting out and stuff. So this is how we had that's actually one of the reasons why our banks are always corrupt. All banks are corrupt. Let's just stop it. Like all banks, except unless I run one, right?
But you are your own bank, right? That's the beauty of crypto. But,
that's right. Yeah. That's right.
I always learned how banks work. I was like, wait, how is this different from a Ponzi scheme? Just because the federal government says they will magically cover your losses, that somehow makes it better. Like, I don't get it.
That's absolutely correct. but you know, these banks are all corrupt, and but you know, they got into a bit of a trouble because like it's sort of because after 2008, banks had certain rules that were set in place where they could and could not put money, so they really had kind of limited options of where they can invest capital. Right, like the banks were real they were real shystery and didn't really want to give loans out. A lot of them weren't in the business of giving loans. They were more of just taking your deposit and kind of letting themselves borrow money or print, or because like banks and the Federal Reserve are the only entities that can actually print money out of thin air.
Yep.
But banks have to do it with an assurance of demand. So if you have a customer that deposits money, then you can print out of thin air a certain amount of money times that deposit.
Yeah.
9x being like the maximum amount you can print, basically. So banks are still in a competition to like get deposits because the deposits are essentially liabilities. Like your money is a liability to them. It's like, but but it can be used to create more capital that then they can make, even if they're making chump change yield, it's still free money basically to them because it adds up because it's such a large number.
Yeah, and a great book to help you guys understand how the monetary system works is The Lords of Easy Money. If you haven't read it, read it. You'll get really pissed off really quick because you'll realize that the way that we create money and the way that money operates and flows throughout the entire economic system is not the way you think it would be. And then two, it's going to make you super mad because then you're not going to have any. You're like, oh my gosh, this is all BS and I still don't have any. So definitely would recommend that book. It's a very good eye-opening book. I'm curious though, for every cycle, right, there seems to be kind of like a big story, right? Like, so the last cycle, it was DeFi was like that was the thing, right? And maybe NFTs with 8 pictures and all that stuff. For this upcoming cycle, what are you thinking is going to be the bigger sectors? Do you think it's going to be like around the AI side of the equation? Is it going to be around GameFi? DeFi still lurking around there, some in the corner? What sections do you think are getting warm?
So this is truly the ETF cycle. It's the ETF cycle. So if you're retail, you say this is a meme cycle, but realistically, if you look at where the big money is going into, where the big money is putting their fucking money down, It's not in memes really. It's in the ETFs and it's in the larger assets. So it's really you're getting stratified to buy a Bitcoin, Ethereum. I've been with Charlie calling for the Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Litecoin, XRP. All these ETFs are coming down the pipeline. Polkadot's going to get one as well, and maybe a couple others. And then from there, I think it goes into probably baskets, where it goes into more like kind of not a mutual fund, but an actual ETF. Where an ETF, usually an ETF is not really like you're buying a single stock because you just buy the single stock, right? It's what really is it needs. It's going to, these next level of ETFs are going to be market weighted top 10 ETFs, or like excluding stable coins or some shit like that. And it's going to be something like that. And then at some point, some asshole is going to make a actively managed top 10 ETF, which is going to happen. Yeah, people like the Pepe in the back. I did too as well. That's a really cool Pepe.
Thank you, guys.
But
your inspiration.
But it's really been that it's like the big two narratives. If you ask people, it's like ETFs, U.S. government, and memes. Now the third one, I would say it's AI, but as big as AI is, it's no matter how high we can get some crazy monstrous returns, but in terms of market cap, the AI coins are not going to completely just eclipse the rest of the market. Now you can make a lot of money. I know quite a few guys that got into virtuals, which is like a coin that's sitting like around, I think 80 cents right now, and got into it at about a penny, and it went as high as like $1 and some change. So it's massive returns can be made. Fetch AI, Render, these coins are worth a lot, but realistically, none of them are really in the top 10 or top 20, really, not yet anyway. But they're going to be where. So why I had a theory I've been calling cycles theory for a while, and so obviously because I know you've taken the course in the past. The crypto cycle is a 4-year cycle, basically, right? Where the major event in the 4-year cycle is the halving for Bitcoin, and then the bull market that happens right after that, basically. With the increase of hash power of Bitcoin, the cost to mine it, the less Bitcoin in the supply, the more people that want to buy it, the competition for that Bitcoin grows. It's a big major event, and so it's kind of a 4-year cycle, right? Usually you get about 1.5 years of bad, 3, 2.5 years of good, roughly, and really it's really like 1 year good, which is the year we're entering right now. This is a good year. If you're not emotional about it, technically we've been in a bull run since December of 2022. Doesn't feel like it for some people, but we were buying Bitcoin at like sub $1,000. We're buying Bitcoin Ethereum at $800, $700, Bitcoin at $15,000, and you've seen the kind of explosive returns that Bitcoin has done. Ethereum's done okay, but lagged behind. But Solana, we've got that very early on, and a bunch of the other coins. We were able to catch the low on a lot of coins, make a lot of solid returns, and then from there kind of adjust to where the market's gone, which has been very heavy. That's why you have Pepe in the background. That was really like the first meme coin outside of Doge to take off. And from there, like the meme coin cycle sort of started on some major meme coins on Ethereum, and then very quickly got hijacked over to Solana because of Pump.fun. And it was kind of like the printing press was created and given out to everybody. So in the Bible was translated into into English basically, or Italian for the first time. And because of that, it's essentially we've seen an explosion of the meme coin sector because people who meme coins were still a big thing last cycle, but you actually did have to have a developer, and you kind of had to know a little bit more. Like it wasn't just like, let me just upload a GIF and just launch it, right? It wasn't like 3 clicks easy. It was, you still had to make a plan. No matter what, even today, like I can launch a meme coin right now in like less than 5 minutes, but it would still not be smart to do it unless I have a big, like a marketing plan, and like I have to put some real effort. But you have people all in between low effort guys and extremely high effort guys. And because you have so many coins launching, there's been a lot of rug pulls, obviously.
Yeah, and a lot of noise. But I mean, yeah, talking about the glory days of like, like $15,000 Bitcoin. I still remember when I first bought my first Bitcoin, right? It was like, geez, under $3,000. I thought I was super late to the game. I was like, oh well, maybe hopefully someday it'll go to 10.
Yeah.
But as again, someone who's taken the course before multiple times running, I'd say it's definitely been a fantastic resource for getting prepared going into the cycle and like curtail. You guys always could. What I really like about your guys' course is you always curtail your approach to what's happening currently and then
Right.
what's pertinent over the next like 6, 7, 8 month period. So that way you can go, people can go in and be very prepared. Your course is currently open right now, right?
Yeah, it's currently open right now. We're in the middle of it right now. We actually on a 4-day break right now. We just finished the morning classes. We're about to go to Las Vegas to do a conference. So we're doing the Pulse Chain conference tour. I mean, hey, you guys are all invited. I think I did tell you about the conference. I think I told you on the conference on the call. Yeah. So we're gonna be in Las Vegas. That's where we live as well. But been traveling and stuff like that. So we're gonna go back to Las Vegas for the 369 tour. We're speaking on the 7th and 8th, and we're holding some like after parties and stuff, and kind of schmoozing around with everybody. We have a lot of people coming, and it's been interesting. We've just defeated the out of all. So you've seen kind of the SEC dismiss a lot of cases in crypto.
Oh yes.
The only one to actually defeat the SEC was the Richard Hart case. So the Coinbase one was dismissed, Kraken dismissed, Binance dismissed. I mean, basically all the lawsuits that are coming out, all the major crypto companies were dismissed. The Hex Pulse Chain case was actually, oh yeah, shout out to him, the goggles stay on. That's right. Gucci goggles.
Gucci gang.
Yeah. Oh yeah, DC gave us Pepe. Yeah, I was probably one of the earliest influencers to ever promote Pepe. I promoted it on the 3rd day it ever came out, and it was still pretty low market cap. So people who followed that call made a lot of money. Like my initial investment into it was like 6 Ethereum at like, I'd have to say 80 million market cap. It may have been a little lower than that. And it's, sitting at 3 billion today, 3 billion market cap today. So it's done a lot of returns. And it's been higher than that. It's been as high as like 11.2 billion. So that's been the best performing meme coin this cycle.
Yeah, and they picked the proper meme, and the timing and everything worked out super well too. So I've actually talked to a couple of guys on the team itself. They went in, like you said, they went in with a strategy. It wasn't willy-nilly all over the place. They knew what they were doing. So kudos to them.
Yeah, shout out to them, man. Man, they've made a lot of millionaires, that's for sure.
Yeah, and they have the greatest website ever, because that Windows throwback website, which again I had to throw up the background for it here, but yeah, that website that they did, I was just like, okay, I saw that, I was like, chef's kiss. Like this is what the meme space is all about.
No, definitely. So yeah, we're in a meme phase. It's always like, no matter what memes are always going to happen, they're happening right now. No matter how bad the market crashes, you'll be able to find low cap meme coins. But the game's kind of like, you get it into it like at 100,000 market cap, 200,000-300,000 market cap, and you ride it to like 1, 2, 3 million. You take profits. Or if you get lucky, you have a meme coin that runs to 10 million. And then if just by the luck of God, you maybe catch one that could hit like 30, 40 to 100 and you made a fortune. But like, that's really the game basically right now. But the problem is that because there's so many meme coins, it's making it harder for some meme coins to hit 1 billion. Or 100 million, because the greed's too big for some people. Like, you have a lot of Jeets out here.
Yeah, and really what you need, right, is you need someone to be that liquidity provider, right, to like say, hey, look, I got a big chunk of the bag, so I'm gonna make sure that I re-put liquidity back in here, versus trying to get people that will snipe it and pull. So yeah, it's definitely, the point of entry is a lot easier and lower now, but the climbing the ladder has become a lot more treacherous. Because, like you said,
I actually do believe before Pump.Fun, it was much easier to have a successful meme coin, because it's just less competition. But at the same time, you also had it was so many more steps of finding a developer. It sounds so hard. Oh, boohoo, hire a developer, do this. But the hard part is, if you do trust them, you have to trust them, and two, that they don't put any malicious code. Because the thing that like Pump.Tires did, and a couple of these of like Pump.Tires or Pump.Fun did, is that they're immutable. So like, there's no way to add like crime shit to the tokenomics. Obviously, the way people do crime is they just buy the supply at nothing. and they can just dump it forever, basically. But they've hidden that component, like they've taken that component away, which is very important. It's like, okay, you're gonna grift on the come out, but like there's no like back, like you can add a tax to it, or you can make it unsellable, you can drain wallets from it, which is at the very least made it safer, much safer.
Yeah.
And then it's also the developer can jack you, which is a huge one, because the developer could code something in and give themselves a backdoor to basically rob you blind and your community blind.
Yeah. So going back to your course for a quick second. So if people were interested in signing up for it, is it too late for this round? But you guys will be coming out in a couple months where they can enroll.
Yeah, so I'd say it's a little too. It's probably too late now. I think it's too late. I might have one link open maybe on Instagram if you check my Instagram possibly, but like it'll probably be shut off basically just because we're already so many days in already that it's just gonna be closed out now. Yeah, we got we got about 600 people that signed up, slightly above 600 people that signed up, and yeah, we're the classes are pretty busy and stuff like that. So like the next one probably will not be until maybe June, possibly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's things will probably start getting really, really fun in the summer too. So, but it's important to again start prepping and stacking your bags now.
Buy coins now. Buy coins now. The bull market's not over. It's in a dip right now. You should thank God that there's a dip right now. Ethereum is literally buy like an Ethereum at $2,000 and buy like Sui, Sonic, Pepe, Solana. Thank me later. Buy the course later. There you go.
So you know what to do with it. That's a good question. Do you think Kraken will list Hex or Pulse?
It's looking like they might list eHex. The reason I think they at least this is what I've heard, because I've talked to people who've done exchange listings. The one they obviously they want payola, they want some cash, but another reason is some of them stupidly feel that they think that, oh, we can roll back the chain or do some really some shit to steal or something like that. So which is really dumb. There's no way to do that now. Absolutely. And it's never happened before on Pulse Chain ever, in fact. But I think the reason they'd probably list eHex before even Pulse Chain, if I'm wrong, think it doesn't matter. I'm right. I'm going to win. It doesn't matter. So either way, it doesn't matter. But the reason I think eHex will probably be listed first is because it's the coin they all know. Most people, except very people in the know or people who are yield farming or even know what Pulse Chain is. They just remember Hex because we did such a great marketing. And Richard was out here buying in Gucci tracksuits, going to Louis Vuitton with buying 10, 20 bags like this, looking like a clown.
Throwing them all in the Ferrari. Yeah,
Ferraris and stuff, buying all the fucking watches and shit. That was on purpose for outrage marketing because it worked. Because why? The average guy, I mean, you're going to market to it this is a real thing. Now, outside of this doesn't work too much in Miami. And even in Miami, it's cool. I've driven Ferraris and Lamborghinis and everything out there in Miami, especially when we're hanging out with Fresh and shit, right? Or we rent a Ferrari and stuff, right? But they're cool cars, but in terms of the car that really stunts out, if you just drive a supercar anywhere outside of Miami, it's a lot of attention. You don't get as much attention as, I don't know, if you were to drive a very, very, very high level like Mercedes Benz and stuff. No one really cares that much, really, unless it's maybe a Maybach, possibly, but even it's a Maybach. But it's not catching everyone's eyes.
Yeah, people don't know what it is too.
People don't know what it is. It's like in the watch game, right? Everyone knows what a Rolex is. Everybody. I don't care where you are on God's green earth. Even in Africa, they know what a Rolex is, right? Even in Antarctica, right? But they maybe know what an AP is, possibly. Right. But you start getting those really high level watches where only a few people, unless they're covered in diamonds or they have something intrinsically special about it, they don't know what it's maybe people who are very rich know, oh, he's wearing one of the, oh, okay, cool. He's got himself a Patek, right? Nice. That's a very good model. Oh, that's an early 60s Patek. Wow, that's a fucking that's a $2 million watch. And it looks like some fucking hunk of shit from the 60s, which it is.
Right. That's why I try to, explain to my friends who are Porsche guys, and they're some of them how GT4 RSs or different things like that. I'm yeah, I mean, you'll impress all the old guys that cars and coffee that like know exactly what that is, but your average person is to be like, all right, this is kind of like that's Porsche. It's not a 911. Okay,
Yeah.
sure, good for you.
Yeah, if you're gonna buy a Porsche, buy a 911. They are dangerous cars. I think they made them much safer, but like it's the number one car celebrities have died in is in 911s
Yeah,
because they just slid out. I think they fixed them. I really hope, but like the new 911s
tires help a lot. So the
Yeah.
tire technology for sure has come a long way. But yeah, Porsches do have a notorious history on that front.
Yeah, I've got a Hellcat myself, and I put the stickiest tires you can put on, the widest tires, and I'm still like I still get like lots of fucking like slip and shit when I hit the gas on it. So like I can't imagine the tire technology back in the day. No wonder you people died.
Yeah, I've driven a lot of different things, and I'll say that the scariest car I've ever driven in my entire life, and I drove two of them, was Dodge Vipers. One is the
Oh my god, that
ACR.
was my dream car, brother. That was my dream car forever. It really was. Like the first three original versions are death traps.
Yeah,
Absolute,
100%.
absolute
100%.
death traps.
My butthole was so puckered like the entire time. And I was just like, oh, it's Russian roulette when you put down the gas pedal. Because it's
They
like, all
didn't
right,
have
is this
power.
thing going to go
They
straight?
didn't have power steering.
No.
They didn't
It's
have
like,
power. Fucking full manual, no power steering on a
yep,
V10 engine. You're just like
8-liter V10. And then if you survive to your destination, you have to worry about getting like your legs burned to a crisp because the exhaust pipe is literally right there next to the door sill. So the entire thing was a literal death trap.
yeah, it's literally a death trap. I had a friend's cousin had one. I actually got into it. It was an older one and stuff, and I just barely started driving. I was 19. Got my license as soon as I turned 18, but I was 19 at the time. And I remember turning it. I was working out at the time, but obviously I was 180 pounds at the time at 19. And I was like, I was having trouble turning the steering wheel. I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh no, dude. And then no traction. I mean, no lane departure, no traction control, no ABS.
Oh yeah, so
Bro, it's just a fucking rocket. It's just a fucking engine. It's like a machine gun that can fly. That's what it is.
So, well, car guy to car guy, right? So I gotta ask the question, right? So, all right, you're someone who's just made some good crypto gains, and
Sure.
now even though you may or may not have lost your ledger in a boating accident or something, but hey, that's logistics, right?
I think it was a treasure. It was a treasure, not a ledger, but sure.
Something like that, right? So you got 3 cars you can buy. What 3 cars are you buying?
Well, you have to buy an Aventador. I mean, that's really just like a stunt. I mean, you have to. I was actually going to like. I might consider. I mean, I think it's just a great. I mean, that's really for business. Really, like, just I'm probably going to buy the next bear market. I'm probably going to just buy an Aventador. I was going to buy it last cycle, but I was like, I don't know, man. I've always wanted the hell. I just get the Hellcat, and then I'll just invest the difference in the market, which was really financially the smart move to do, because like. You can get the lower rung like Lamborghinis, and you can buy them or you can lease them and stuff, but like most people have to actually literally just pay full price and buy the fucking like Ventadors and shit like that. The SVJs are really great value. When you can SVJ get loans on those and stuff and everything like that. Like we're gonna have Fresh and Fit. He always teaches a class in the course where it's return on flex. We call it the return on flex class, where we kind of go over like if you're gonna like do flashy shit, get the most bang for your buck for the flashy shit, right? And that's what so a car really is I mean, it's a big one, right? It really is, right?
And I will say, but real quick is that I've driven virtually everything except for one model of Bugattis, but the Aventador is absolutely my absolute favorite thing I've ever driven out of everything. I will be driving the Revuelto pretty soon, but the Aventador is my absolute favorite. And I like the Gen 1 SV the most. But that being said, the SVJ is insane. I give my dad a heart attack in that car. So Aventador is for sure would be on my list as well.
So an Aventador just for that, I would say from there, Venom Hennessy GT. Okay. That's actually the car I want. I want like if I could get it, like because you can buy that car, you can buy a Bugatti, right? And that smokes a Bugatti. Absolutely destroys it, and it's American made. Absolutely, like it's the fastest right now. It's the fastest production car on the planet.
Yeah, I would say we'll go on American. Honestly, the best car under 300 grand is that new Corvette Z06. Like,
Yeah,
I've
dude. I'm
got
yeah. That
extensive
was
experience with that
incredible.
car. I haven't tried the ZR1 yet because it's not out, but that Z06, it's literally a Ferrari 458 just reborn. Yeah, that thing it's magic.
Yeah, that's an incredible car. And then the third pick for me is like, so like if there's a new Viper, because I obviously the last Viper I think they made was like what 2015's.
I think yeah, like 20. I think might have been like 2016 or 17 might be the
17, yeah.
last model year on the Viper.
Whatever the last, the last model that was pretty nice, but like it's just getting so old now that like I eventually probably will have it, but I think at some point they will bring the Viper back at some point or something like that. I think they will.
Hopefully not as an electric something, but just like
Yeah.
pure, proper, big
Well,
engine.
this is Trump's America now. This is Trump's America now.
There we go.
Emissions are bullshit. The Paris Accord is bullshit. I mean, they're just it's all bull. I mean, what are we talking about? Like they're telling us to say, "Oh my God, don't pollute the earth," right? Or like, "Oh my God, the V8s and shit, or this are going to pollute the earth." Bros, like the billionaires, they do so much damage just with all the private jets that they're flying on.
Yeah.
Like their boats, the cargo ships fucking do the emissions like crazy and stuff. I mean, animals, of course. But then on top of that, you have entire countries. You have all of Asia still developing. You have China alone. China doesn't give a single fuck about anything. They burn coal. They're still lighting trash on fire all over. Don't even get me started on rural India with half of 550 million people in rural India still shit outside and shit in the street. It's a shit. Yeah. It's literally like they're over 2/3 of all the outside shitting on the planet is in rural India alone. So that society alone, the amount of just pestilence and CO2 emissions and trash burning. Because I know I would go to Mexico all the time. What would people do when you're out in the ranches? What do? They don't throw. There's no trash pickup. They fucking light a giant bonfire and light their trash on fire. That's exactly what they do. They do that in Mexico. You think they don't do it in India and in China? So they're like this whole shit about. I mean, there probably is a little bit of global warming, which is good. I mean, at a certain extent, right?
Right. You can't have an ice age because the Earth cools down, everything dies. But a slightly warmer planet, you get more plant life, more oxygen. So if people actually knew a little bit more of the details, like how global energy grid is structured, but also just how the planet absorbs energy as well, you'd have a slightly different take versus the world is ending, but we conveniently will sell you some paper straw so you can save it.
Right. And just to talk about like the C8s and the and the Z06 and stuff, like Corvettes I think the reputation is starting to go up because basically they're making less of them, and they're incredible. I mean, bang for buck, incredible, but they're increasing, the price has increased on them. And they're essentially making the car more expensive and more limited in order to stop something that they did in the past, which they had. So from the 80s until probably say 2020, they were the single-handedly one of the worst investment cars you could ever buy ever. Just about. Didn't matter if you bought the top of the line. The moment you bought it, you've lost half your money. Damn near.
And your khaki shorts and New Balances weren't going to save any of your capital on that front. Like, yeah.
I mean, it's good. It's a good car to buy aftermarket. I mean, after like on the used car market, maybe and it's fast and stuff. You've got to make your due diligence. But I like to buy cars where I don't lose money too much, right? Like I bought all the cars I bought in trucks and stuff. I've worst case taken 20% haircut at most to made more money than the car was worth or the trucks were worth. Like all my trucks I made money on after I sold them and stuff. So I used to run a landscape irrigation business. So I had quite a few trucks and I was able to, make money quite a lot of them, or at the very least pass them along to somebody else. And they're still worth more than when I bought them and stuff like that. Car wise, all the cars I bought, that Hellcat I have out there is I think the fastest, highest end Hellcat, and it's the last production year too, 2023. And that's the fastest Charger they've ever made. There are faster Challengers. There's the Goblin. There's the Goblin, of course. Right. But that was limited to 100 cars in total. and stuff as well. So like, but charger wise, that's the fastest charger, and and I take care of all my cars as well. Like you give you give anybody 25 and younger a fucking Hellcat and shit. It's fucked, bro.
Oh yeah, I got stories, especially being involved as an investor in exotic car rental fleet. So yeah, I got a lot of stories about certain cars you shouldn't rent out because they will not come back. But yeah, I could easily devolve this. Love to continue this conversation. We're coming up on time here, so we'll definitely have to have you back on, do another stream, and then how can where can the people find you? Where should people follow you if they aren't familiar with you already?
Yeah, so you can find me at Dollar Cost Crypto on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. I'll drop where is it? I'll drop you right now my link tree right now, and it's got all my socials on there and stuff. I find that it's just easier.
Yeah, and I'll add that into the description too, so when people catch the replay, they'll have it all there. And yeah, we're here at Minute Now, so again, we're always dedicated to bringing high value content with high value guests, but also just helping everybody level up in whichever way they want. And guys that know me really well, right? They know me that I'm very big on the crypto space, but a large part of it too has been because of your fantastic work, and again, the excellent course that I've taken with you guys for 3 years running. And I gotta say, spectacular. If you guys haven't checked it out, definitely do check it out. Might be a little bit late now, but definitely get on the wait list so that way you can get ahead of the curve when it comes back out, because it's going to be up-to-date information that's not only going to help prepare you, but also help you manage what you're going to need to do in each and every cycle. So again, can't thank you guys enough, and it's always an honor, pleasure to have you on board, my man.
Thank you so much, man. And yeah, and for people who don't know, if you missed out on getting to the course right now, I would join the Citadel. We got 658 members in there, and it's a great place to kind of get a resource to get starting information and ask questions and kind of stay safe. There's a lot of imposters. So, I mean, we recently had a guy that almost got all his entire portfolio stolen, thinking he was talking to me. It was a fake. Somebody made a fake profile of me and was like essentially like this close to getting him to send all his money and his seed phrases. So we managed to catch it in time, but you have to be very careful. So that's why I'm verified on everything. So you have to be very careful. So thank you so much for inviting me, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Nah, an absolute pleasure, and I'll look forward to doing it again soon. All right, guys. Well, please be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you soon.
Later.